This is it. This is all. This is the 2020 best and worst of year in review. A good year, not a great year. Worse for some, I guess. Better for less. As usual, we will do the 5 worst films and then the honorable mentions, and then jump right into the top 10. I don't do a lot of little subcategories like best director and best cinematographer. I could care less about that garbage. I'm going to do one little side award, and that is for most gross out, disgusting moment. Obviously, that goes to the ending of The Relic, or I guess just Relic. But yes, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's gross. Still makes me dry fever when she's picking up. Oh. Anyway, okay. Beyond that, let's get going. Here is the 5 worst films. Number 5, the 5th from worst, The Lodge.
Garbage in, garbage out.
And you know what? The Lodge wasn't that horrible. It wasn't complete garbage. It just was not good. This woman commits suicide, and then the replacement mother comes in, and they take off on this cottage trip to the middle of nowhere, and they're sitting there with the space heater on, and suddenly they space out. And then it gets muddled and muffled and confusing, and goes in different directions, and you don't know what's up or down or left or right. Yes, confusing. The more I think about it, it was a bad film. What an awful poop movie. Next one, The Beach House.
Because you sit there, even if you're a critic paid to sit there, you sit there thinking, what am I doing with my life watching this picture?
The Beach House. This young couple, goes to this beach house, and there's another couple already there. And there's this disease rolling in off the ocean and is making everyone hallucinate. And it makes them sick and turn into things, I guess. Half the movie is the girlfriend carrying her sick boyfriend around from house to house to house to house to house to house, and then into a car. Of course, the car crashes in 10 seconds, and what a mess. What a failure. Next worst garbage film, Gretel and Hansel.
I hated this movie.
Gretel and Hansel is just dark for dark's sake. 45 minutes of this film is just the witch and this little girl baking goods in this little cabin out in the middle of nowhere. After the first 5 naps, I finally woke up and it got a little bit better, but still it was garbage. Feel free to avoid. Now let's go on to the smiley face killers.
I've spoken actually with my son. He says, how bad is this? It's bad. It's bad.
We got a little backbeat going on. Yes, the number 2 worst film of the year, The Smiley Face Killers. Why is that house beat on there? Because we're in the Northeast's most popular gay bar called The Cockpit. Because this is the gayest movie ever made. There's doing it, and there's overdoing it, and then there's way overdoing it. And that's what this film did. A lot of naked boys. A lot of naked boys. If you want to see naked boys stripping and dressing and wandering around naked, go into Pornhub like a normal human being and look at porn and avoid this garbage trash movie. Number 1 on the worst list, Camp Coldbrook.
What's that smell?
Number 1, Camp Coldbrook. I don't know if I could do this film justice, describing how bad it is. I will let my fellow YouTuber, the Horror Movie Dick, who runs a great channel, who has some awesome shows, with, if you like my shows, but with full of vulgarity, then you would love the Horror Movie Dick. But let's listen and see what he had to say about this particular movie.
So overall, this film, it's just fucking generic, man. It's a mediocre story. There's really nothing original or groundbreaking. They really it felt like they didn't try so hard. You know, like the script is just meh.
Yes, it was a lot of meh. But actually, we have a clip of the film from Camp Coldbrook. If you listen closely, you can hear the diarrhea splatter in the background of how crappy this movie really is. But listen closely. Here it is.
We produce one ball-busting, scare the living out of our audience episode.
I say we do Winchester House.
No way. Place is lame. What the hell is wrong with you? This is it. We're all out on our asses if we don't come up with something big.
I have one. It's a camp. It's called Coldbrook.
All right, enough playing around. Let's get to the honorable mentions. Just real quickly, real briefly. 5 films that didn't quite make it to the honorable mention list, but I wanted to mention them because they're awesome. First one, Awoken. I think I'm the only one that liked this. It got 27% viewer rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I put in a positive review. Jumped it to 29. Power of One. The next one is Underwater. Came out earlier in the year, the big budget. It was fun, but it was hard to see what was going on all the time because there was a lot of stuff going on. It was just kind of hard to follow, but it was still good. Next one, After Midnight. This guy's girlfriend leaves, and all of a sudden he's stalked by some Sasquatch thing outside the door, and it's knocking and it's breaking in. A lot of fun. After that, we got Becoming. Becoming was a nice slow burn. A lot of people didn't like this either. I thought it was great. It's like number 40 on Rotten Tomatoes' top horror movie list. I thought it should be top 20. Then the last one of this brief list is Spree, the John Kerry movie from Stranger Things, the tall, skinny kid. He's an Uber driver trying to get some views on a show, as we all struggle with here on YouTube or trying to do. And he goes on a killing spree to get people to watch the show. And that's what that film is about. It's awesome. But now on to the real top honorable mentions, the 5. This was a super late edition I just watched a day ago called Shortcut. Group of kids. I'll do a full review on this later, but it's a group of kids. They take a bus to some place. I think it's set in London, England, somewhere. But they have to take a detour, and they go underneath this tunnel, and there's this creature in the tunnel, and they have to deal with that. And they're all just scared teenagers. Good film. Next one is Host. A lot of people will probably have Host higher, but you took Befriended, and you took out all the garbage, and he amped up the violence, and that's all Host is. Should I really give it that much praise for just taking away what another movie already did? Nah. But it's still good. It's only an hour, too. It's hour 2, T-O-O, 2. It's only an hour, so it should be watched. Next one, Invisible Man, came out early in the year. Big budget Hollywood one that, it was not a perfect film, but it was, a lot of fun. Especially when everything was shut down. Next one, Cleansing Hour, when you have fake exorcisms and you film them and then eventually one becomes real. That's what happened here in The Cleansing Hour. Excellent film. VFW, these old timers in this bar. This girl walks in and they decide to defend her from the drug addicts that are after her because she stole some stuff. And it turns into a super violent Tarantino type film. Yes, very good. Now time for the real top 10. Here we go. Number 10. The Marshes. Don't hear a lot of people talking about The Marshes. This was probably my first of the half year number 1. I had watched it in February, I think. And for a while, it was holding on. But it didn't quite hold on, obviously, if it's down at number 10. But it's still a fun movie. I hope to see a sequel. Number 9, The Mortuary Collection. Excellent anthology film. Everything. All the stories were at least pretty good. Some were great. Some deserved to be full films. But, hey. Probably the best anthology film since Trick or Treat. My opinion. Now on the number 8 film, we have something fun for you. This is Sputnik. So I figured since it's a Russian film, the proper way to do a review of a Russian film is to do it in song to the theme of the Russian national anthem. Enjoy. Number 8, it is Sputnik, a wonderful Russian movie. It's more a science fiction with a sprinkling of horror. Putin gave it 4 out of 5. Chuckloaf gives it about the same. It is worth of watching in groups or alone. It's about a cosmonaut who brought back a little alien down his gullet. Bless the Russian filmmakers, maybe there'll be a sequel. Maybe there will be 2 sequels. There you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Number 7, Anything for Jackson, which I reviewed on the last show, which is the highest rated show not to get a feature review on one of my mini shows. You'd have to go back and listen to the review. I don't feel like going over it again. Number 6, Sea Fever. This was a lot of fun. This was also briefly number 1. This chick needs to do some scientific experiments out in the whatever ocean she's in. And these sailors, they're fishermen, I think, or whatever. And there's something out there. It's kind of you take a cabin fever and mix it in with kind of a creature feature, and you get sea fever. You kind of have best of both worlds. But yes, a lot of fun. Number 5, Swallow. Probably the most beautifully made film of this year, I would say. An amazing work of art and a good movie. Swallow. This chick who feels confined just starts cramming stuff down her throat. Whatever she can find. Pins, needles, tacks, marbles. It's out of hand. Good. Really good film. Number 4, Z. Going into December, Z would have been my number 1. I thought I had it locked up. This little boy has this imaginary friend, and no one believes the imaginary friend to be real until the mother gets a quick glimpse of it and says, uh-oh. Problem. And yes, amazing little film. I enjoyed it a lot. Number 3, the top 3, I really struggled to pick a number 1 because they're all great. There's Tony the Tiger. Once said number 3, Run, a Hulu original. I can't believe Hulu made this. This is so far beyond what they usually make. But Run, this woman who has this teenage daughter, who she's apparently making the daughter sick. And the daughter is smart, and she eventually puts it together and says, oh, my mom is not a good person. What do you do? That's what happens in Run. Number 2. Last chance to switch it. Nope, not gonna. Number 2. Love and Monsters. I gave it a glowing review on my previous show. It almost took over number 1, but like couldn't do it. Couldn't pull the trigger. But this movie probably has the most replay value. This is the one you could watch on your own, and then to show it to your friends, and then to show it to your parents, and then to show it to your siblings, and you could watch it again and again. I really need to buy this DVD. Love and Monsters. This guy who's been cooped up in this little underground dwelling with a few other people after the insects have taken over. Giant insects that are size of buses. And he decides he's going to go see the love that he hasn't seen in years and years, and just see what happens. Yes. A lot of craziness happens. A lot of fun, though. Number 1. I can't believe this made my number 1. But it is my number 1. Number 1 film of 2020, Uncle Peckerhead. I would have never thought a horror comedy could have done it, but it did. I love this movie. I can't find this movie to buy it. It's not really available anywhere. Unless you get like a Region 7 DVD, which would do me no good. I guess I could just buy it digitally, but I want to pass it around. I want to say, hey, check this movie out. Pass it around. Uncle Peckerhead. Boy, I never had so much fun this year at a film. This grunge band has some tour dates to go to, and their van gets repossessed the day of the tour, so they need a van, so they find this bum living in a van down by the river, and they get the bum to drive them around, and the bum has a secret. He's not just a bum. But they love the bum because he's, helping them out. And yes, amazing, awesome film. So that's it. That's what we got. Was this year as good as last year? No. 2019 was better. I was looking at the list from last year. There's an honorable mention movie on there called Sweetheart from last year. It would have been my number 5 this year. It would have. But there wasn't as many garbage films as there was last year. And I watched a lot more this year. 85 films is how many I watched, and this is the best of the best. So there you have it. That was a lot of fun. So the regular episodes will begin here shortly again, and then we'll start towards next year.